Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm Nick Boyd.
And I'm Ben Kavicius. From Kendrick Lamar to Beetlejuice, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more. From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Before we start tonight's show, we would like to express our condolences to the family of James Earl Jones, who passed away this afternoon.
He was best known for playing Darth Vader in Star Wars, the voice of Mufasa in Lion King, and King Jafar in Coming to America 1 and 2. May he rest in peace.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone announced that this week that the animated TV series will not be returning until 2025. This means that the show will not be covering the 2024 presidential election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. When asked about covering the 2024 election, Stone said, quote, "We've tried doing South Park through 4 or 5 presidential elections, and it's such a hard thing to do. It's such a scramble, and it seems like it takes outsized importance," end quote. Parker and Stone still both believe that the election is extremely important, but feel like they've already written a lot about the candidates in previous seasons. The show currently has 26 seasons and has been running since August of 1997.
Atlanta rap star Rich Homie Quan has died at the age of 33. He was found unresponsive in his home, and no official cause of death has been released yet. Known for his melodic flows, Quan was a staple of hip-hop in the 2010s. He broke out with his solo hit Type of Way in 2013 and followed that up with the 2014 hit Lifestyle featuring Young Thug, which went platinum. His next big hit was Flex in 2015, and his music video for the song inspired the dance trend of Hitting the Quan. He put out 9 mixtapes and 1 studio album, 2018's Rich is in Spirit, over his career. Tributes have poured in from collaborators like 2 Chainz, Quavo, and Metro Boomin as hip-hop mourns the loss of another young star.
As big as the Super Bowl, rapper Kendrick Lamar took to social media on Sunday morning and announced that he will be headlining Super Bowl 59 next February in New Orleans. The 17-time Grammy winner released a short video on his Instagram and YouTube accounts, loading footballs into a jug machine and inviting fans to tune into this year's halftime show. Lamar has been making music since 2003 and is well known for his many studio albums, including Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn, which are considered to be some of hip-hop's best albums of all time. In Lamar's statement about the announcement, he said, quote, "Rap music is still the most impactful genre to date, and I'll be there to remind the world why. They got the right one," end quote. Lamar's upcoming performance at Super Bowl 59 will be the second time the rapper has performed at the Super Bowl, with the first being alongside icons like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, and others in 2022.
DirecTV and Disney are locked in a carriage dispute battle that has left DirecTV customers unable to watch ABC, ESPN, or any Disney subsidiary channels, and it's left many people upset. Disney said in a statement, quote, "DirecTV chose to deny millions of subscribers access to our content. While we're open to offering DirecTV flexibility in terms which we've extended to other distributors, we will not enter into an agreement that undervalues our portfolio of television channels and programs," end quote. On the other hand, DirecTV Chief Content Officer Rod Thun said that Disney, quote, "wants to continue to chase maximum profits and dominate control at the expense of consumers," end quote. DirecTV filed a complaint with the FCC on Sunday, claiming that Disney was negotiating with them in bad faith. It looks like this battle between the 2 media conglomerates could drag out for a while. The Venice Film Festival was last week and had a lot of exciting things to present. Here to break it down for us, coming all the way from LA, is Alex Kendall.
What's up, hashtag? It's Alex coming to you straight from the heart of Hollywood. But I'm not here to talk about Los Angeles, but another event on the other side of the world, the Venice Film Festival. I'm here to bring you the full recap of this amazing event in cinema, so grab your popcorn, throw on your red carpet fit, and let's jump right into it. Before anyone ever stepped foot into theaters, excitement was in the air as celebs walked the red. A few notable outfits included Catherine O'Hara's themed moody Beetlejuice dress made of woven leather, and Jason Schwartzman's ColourPop orange suit promoting the movie Queer. And while there were plenty of other fantastic outfits with gorgeous textures and patterns, the clothes weren't the only shocking things on the red carpet, but rather who was with whom. Joker Folie à Deux star Lady Gaga showed off not only her famous headpiece, but also her lovely fiancé Michael Polanski. This also served as the newly engaged couple's first red carpet. While celebs made jaws drop from both their partners to their show-stopping outfits, the show must go on, and on it did. So what exactly did hit the big screen, you ask? Well, a few highlights include The Room Next Door featuring Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton, the 3-hour epic The Brutalist featuring Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones, and Sexy Baby Girl starring Nicole Kidman and Harris Dickinson. This year's films explored freedom, sexuality, and politics, with some of the most successful ones selling immediately out of the gate, with, quote, 2 of the busiest films of the competition, Maria and Queer, sold to Netflix and A24, according to Variety, end quote. While bidding wars are all too common at other festivals, this was a first for Venice, and with other promising films like the aforementioned The Brutalist, it's only a matter of time to see who else will secure distribution rights. However, the brighter the event, the darker the shadows, with The Antique caught in a political copyright controversy at the Venice Film Festival. While the film was originally slated to compete in the Giornate degli Autori section, it vanished from the program on August 28th and 29th by emergency decree from the Venice court. The claim came from producers from Russia, Croatia, and Cyprus for alleged copyright infringement. The Antique focuses on the brutal and illegal deportation of Georgians from Russia. Director Glorjidze protested that this was, quote, a true attempt at censorship, where the Russian Ministry of Culture asked us to remove a series of scenes and they tried to stop the shooting, finally confiscating the material at the border, end quote. While Giorgio Guzzetti, one of the curators of the Giornate degli Autori, noted that the measure does not prohibit the screening, as of this recording, it is still to be seen of whether or not the chance to see the film on September 6th, the original date, is still to go on. According to immediate critics, fortune favored the bold when it came to films such as Queer and Baby Girl, with their exploration of sexuality and freedom, while expected favorites with star-studded casts like Wolf's or Maria fell flat. Despite any hiccups, looking at the festival as a whole, most of the movies found impressive success, with the Vulture Standing O-Meter reporting staggering and impressive numbers. A few of note include The Room Next Door having an amazing 17.5 minutes and The Brutalist having a satisfying 12.7 minutes of non-stop applause. However, only award season will truly tell which films made the cut and which fell short. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have today. Signing off from LA, I'm Alex, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Here with Let's Get Real is Patrick Walsh.
Thanks, guys. I'm going over all the latest reality TV news. Olympic rugby bronze medalist and Quinnipiac alumni Ilona Maher will join the season 33 cast of Dancing with the Stars. Maher became an internet sensation during the Olympics through her posts on TikTok and appearances of various celebrities. Maher will be partnered with Alain Bursten, a professional Latin and ballroom dancer, who first appeared in season 25 and won season 28 with model Hannah Brown. Maher is joined on the cast by fellow Olympic medalist Steven Nedoroscik, NBA legend Dwight Howard, and Super Bowl winner Danny Amendola. Staying on the dance floor, convicted con artist Anna Sorokin is also set to compete on Dancing with the Stars. Sorokin was convicted of fraud in 2019 after posing as a wealthy German heiress and tricking several big New York banks, hotels, and wealthy socialites. Sorokin was the subject of the Netflix documentary series Inventing Anna, which was the most watched show on Netflix the week it came out and was nominated for multiple Emmy Awards. As a condition, Sorokin will have to wear an ankle tracking bracelet on the show. Sorokin is paired with pro dancer Ezra Sosa, making his show debut. The season 47 cast of CBS's Survivor has been announced. Notable castaways include Pod Save America member John Lovett, 2018 Miss Delaware Sierra Wright, and Rob has a podcast member Aisha Welch. Medical device salesman and Norwalk, Connecticut native Solomon Gee is also a contestant. He hopes that his friendly, witty, lucky attitude will help him win the $1 million prize. The show will once again be hosted by Jeff Probst, who has hosted every season of the show. This season will take place on the island of Fiji, a common setting for the legendary reality show. That's it for this week's Let's Get Real. Back to you guys at the desk.
Tim Burton's newest movie, Beetlejuice, hit theaters this weekend. And here to give their thoughts are Michael Katzflin and Joe Flynn.
Hey, hashtag, I'm Joe.
And I'm Michael. 36 years later, after the original Beetlejuice came out, Beetlejuice has finally hit theaters.
The long-awaited sequel released on Friday, September 6th, and had a 77% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, along with a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Joe and I had the pleasure of seeing it opening night, and we have some thoughts to give to you on the movie.
Here's our opinion on Beetlejuice. The main thing that stuck out to me in Beetlejuice was just the costume design and the set design of the movie. There's one character in particular that stuck out to me. It was the character with all the piranhas on him.
While the original movie wasn't essential to view, you could tell some of the set designs had references to the original movie. And while there is only 3 returning characters from the original movie, there's still references to what happened to them afterwards, or how they were able to get out of the conflict from the original one. So you definitely don't need to see the original to enjoy this one. If you did see the original, there's definitely a lot of fun Easter eggs to enjoy from it.
And as someone who hasn't seen the original movie, I feel like I wasn't really missing anything from it. I feel like I got the necessary points in the story from the first one, and it just made the movie overall really enjoyable.
All the new characters that they added to this movie were all really fun and enjoyable, and kept you invested. You wanted to hear their story and see more of them, and you didn't really miss much of the old characters because they had the essentials, and it just worked really well for the movie.
Winona Ryder in the movie was just phenomenal as well. She really played into the character from the first movie and just kind of continued that fear of Beetlejuice into it, and I thought that was just a really great dynamic, especially with her daughter, played by Jenna Ortega. They were both just phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, kind of building off of that with Jenna Ortega, she's the daughter of Winona Ryder. She doesn't really believe in any of that stuff until later in the movie she comes into contact with an actual ghost that drags her into the underworld. That was a good build of being they're not real, until eventually she finally sees and realizes her mom was right.
Another thing I really liked about Beetlejuice was just the overall pacing of the movie. I thought it was really well edited. There wasn't really a dull moment, or honestly, I don't think there was a moment of silence. It just kept going. It felt like there was a great flow to the movie, and it really just made me immersed.
All the scenes kept me really invested. There wasn't a dull moment. I felt invested in these characters and what was going on throughout the entirety of the movie. I didn't really feel confused at all, and it just kept me wanting more. I just enjoyed seeing those characters on screen, and I want to see more of them.
Overall, Beetlejuice was a wonderful sequel to a beloved movie, and I thought it was just a fun time in the theaters, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who'd like to see it.
In the end, I'd probably give this movie 8.5 hashtags out of 10. What would you rate it?
For me, I think I'm gonna go with 7.5 hashtags out of 10.
That's all we have for you today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Here with this week's Hot Goss is Ashley Potvin.
Thanks, guys. I'm going over all the latest celebrity gossip. Starting off with some Bachelorette drama, Maria Georges wanted to make some things clear between the Devin Strader and Jen Tran situation. We recently learned that Tran proposed to Strader many months ago, only for it to be called off because Strader believed he made the wrong decision. Strader ended up going to a New York City club and following Georges on Instagram that same night. This brought fans to believe she was in the middle of the Bachelor breakup, but she wanted to make things clear, saying, quote, "Let me clear the air on something. I've never met Devin before. I never went clubbing with him. I never followed back. I have nothing to do with the ending of the relationship," end quote. Although she and Tran are not friends anymore, she wanted to clear the air and make sure the public knew they did not hate each other. Sticking with Strader and Tran gossip, Strader recently called out Tran for being a liar, in which he shared text messages and other forms of contact to the public. Tran recently revealed that Strader had broken up with her over the phone, which isn't the most appropriate way to end a relationship. A day later, Strader posted some text messages between himself and Tran on his Instagram stories to prove Tran wrong. At one point, Tran said, quote, "Why did you want to talk to me in person today in the first place?" end quote. In which Strader replied, quote, "I wanted to tell you all of this in person because you deserve more than a phone call," end quote. However, Strader did lead Tran on for months while he was filled with doubt. He took responsibility for those actions, in which he told Tran that he failed her. Vanderpump Rules TV star Jax Taylor recently broke his silence after divorcing Brittany Cartwright. After 5 years of marriage, Taylor finally opened up about his divorce from Cartwright on the most recent episode of his podcast, which surprised some listeners. In the episode, he gave props to Cartwright for staying with him as long as she did, saying, quote, "Brittany did file for divorce. I understand why she did, and I agree that this is the right decision for our family," end quote. This was after Taylor previously cheated on Cartwright. Taylor also broke his silence on his mental health struggles, where he spoke about his recent admission to a mental health hospital, where he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. He said, quote, "I now have a better understanding of my mental health struggles. I've been put on some serious medication that's actually been helping me out a lot," end quote. While they are both separated, both parties are working individually to provide a healthy environment for their 3-year-old son, Cruz. That's it for this week's Hot Goss. We'll be back right after this short commercial break.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 Woo.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Now here's Ryan Ziax to keep you fed with an update on the greatest gobbling rivalry of all time, Chestnut versus Kobayashi.
Hey hashtag, I'm Ryan, and there's only one way to settle this beef. On this past Labor Day, hot dog eating champions Joey Chestnut and Takuro Kobayashi settled their historic rivalry on the grand stage of Netflix. Co-hosted by Rob Riggle and Nikki Garcia, this matchup marked the competitive eaters' first showdown in 15 years. Chestnut and Kobayashi have faced off multiple times at Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, with Chestnut having beaten Kobayashi 3 times in competition, and Kobayashi having surpassed Chestnut twice. The two cultivated a rivalry similar to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, and Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, legends at the top of their game in a dogfight. This rematch has been a long time coming. Chestnut went to X to claim he was banned from Nathan's due to his partnership with a plant-based company, which Nathan denies. This resulted in Chestnut not competing in the 2024 Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Kobayashi stopped competing at Nathan's over a contract dispute with Major League Eating, which runs the Nathan's contest. And in May, Kobayashi announced his retirement, but the chance to compete against Chestnut lured him back for one last contest. They competed to see who could eat the most hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. The winner took home $100,000 and was crowned the champion. Joey Chestnut reminded the world that he's the one true glizzy GOAT after devouring 83 hot dogs in a 10-minute span. Kobayashi broke his own personal best with 66 hot dogs. Following the contest, Chestnut said that he had always wanted to eat 80 hot dogs and couldn't have done it without Kobayashi, stating after his victory, quote, "This is amazing. I've been trying to hit 80 hot dogs for years, and without Kobayashi, I was never able to do it," he said. "He drives me. We weren't always nice to each other, but I love that we push each other to be our best," end quote. Kobayashi would add, with the help of an interpreter, quote, "I feel like I did everything I could," end quote. "Respect greatness while you can, people, because we may never see glizzy gladiators at this level again." Thank you all for listening, and let's catch up with our hosts at the desk.
We're back with the introduction of Sound Exchange, and here to fill us in on all of the new tracks this week, joining us at the desk is Anthony Rossi.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We got a lot of eye-catching releases coming at us this week, starting off with New Music Friday. This past week, Rex Orange County dropped his first album in about 2.5 years. This album is titled The Alexander Technique. It's a completely different vibe from his last item titled Who Cares. The songs in the album are a little bit of a slower tempo compared to his other albums and songs that are more of upbeat. Rex spoke to Billboard Music saying, quote, "My first few albums were all leading up to this in my mind. This is exactly what I've been wanting to make," end quote. Also something to note, this is Rex's first music drop in general since he was wrongly accused of sexual assault in 2023. My question for you guys is, how do you think the album will perform after his hiatus from the spotlight?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll do well. It's not that long of a gap, right? 2022, you said, was when Who Cares came out. This album's a 2-year gap. It's not that large of a gap. And he's got a good audience. He's a good singer. I know him mostly from his features on Tyler, the Creator's Flower Boy.
Yes.
He's not a guy who's in my rotation constantly, but I'm familiar enough with him. So I think it'll have some success. Probably maybe a little bit less than his last album, but because he is trying something new, he said. But I think he'll have success with it.
Yeah, kind of similar to Nick. I'm not as familiar with his music, but I think anytime you see an artist go on a break for any time, and especially trying something new here, trying a new style of music, I think some people that love his old stuff might kind of shy away from it. But I always credit an artist for going back to the drawing board, trying to come up with something new and evolve as an artist.
Yeah, exactly. So his albums have progressively gotten better over time, and his most popular song, Best Friend, wasn't even on an album. It's just under 700 million streams on Spotify. Apologies. His most recent song that topped the popularity chart is called The Shade, which is on Who Cares, which is the album that I was just talking about. That one currently sits at 375 million on Spotify, so just over double. And then the most recent song that he just made was The Table, which is on his new album, which is trending number 9 for him. But moving on Thursday, pop star The Weeknd released the title for his new album. The album will be titled Hurry Up Tomorrow and was teased via Instagram with a trailer-style video. The post concluded saying, quote, "When today ends, I'll discover who I am. Hurry up tomorrow," end quote, revealing the title of the Canadian's new album. To top that, on Saturday, he posted the cover of the new album along with mentioning the pre-order is now available for the album's new merchandise. There seems to be massive hype for this album on social media. So guys, how excited are you for the album drop, and how do you think the album will do compared to his last ones?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, with the new title and album cover, I think that generates a lot of hype. Also, this past weekend, he had a concert in Brazil previewing a lot of that new music. I've heard a few songs, a few little snippets. One of which having a Playboi Carti feature, which was a really interesting change of pace for him as an artist as well. So I'm really excited to hear this one out. I think me and Nick will have to listen to this album together.
Oh, this is definitely going to be one that we stay up to midnight, run the whole track list, and that's the fun of having those hyped up releases. You know what's coming. I think this also is going to be I think he's structuring this trilogy with After Hours and Dawn FM, and that's going to help him out a lot too. He's one of the biggest artists in the world. He's not going to struggle numbers-wise. When he drops, people listen. And timing it up with that concert in Brazil, like you said, genius move by The Weeknd.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And especially since that was streamed on YouTube, too. Everybody could see it. Well, obviously, you guys may know his most popular song is Blinding Lights. That one is very, very well known. I know I listen to it on repeat a lot. 4.44 million streams almost on Spotify. Die For You and Starboy are on Starboy. They're at 2 and 3. And Starboy is definitely one of his most popular. Blinding Lights is his most popular song. Do you think that this new album can elapse it? Because Dawn FM didn't even elapse a million views on Spotify.
I think it should. I think he's a generational artist. He's doing what he does best, and generating the hype that he has for this, I think is only going to help him. I will say, I really hope he hides the features. That's something that a lot of artists have done recently, and it makes that first listen through really, really, really special.
Because then you don't have that experience of okay, I'm going to skip to this song because I want to hear these two, and it's a surprise.
And you're listening through it, and then you hear, oh my God, is that? And you recognize the artist on that song, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. It makes it so much more fun and interactive when you're doing it with friends and people.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Well, gentlemen, that's all the time that we have for this week's Sound Exchange. It's been a great week of music for sure. I'm signing off, but you'll see more of these guys after this commercial break.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. What? My. Oh.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
This week, Ben and I are playing a game of head-to-head with some of the 2024 hip-hop and R&B albums. Let's get started.
Let's see, our first, so we're going to get 2 albums here, and we have to pick which one's the better one. What are we getting first, Nick? Let's see.
Ooh, Bando Stone in the New World
this is
versus
a tough
Dark Times
pick.
by Vince Staples.
This is
Oh
such
my
a tough
gosh.
one.
Oh, these are 2 of the best albums that came out this year.
For sure.
I love the storytelling on Dark Times. I think because Bando Stone is a little more versatile, it's got a lot of stuff going on there, and because it tells a narrative story, I gotta go with that.
I think I'm taking Dark Times.
I can respect that.
It's so close for me, but I just
respect
love
that.
Vince Staples, and I love kind of the sound, and especially on some of these songs on that record, the
Yeah.
storytelling is amazing, and really goes into kind of his life experiences. Give me Dark Times, but it's so close.
Yeah.
I really love both of these albums
Yeah.
so much.
All right, let's see
Let's
what's
see what
next.
we got next. Oh, wow. You guys put these 2
let's
together.
go.
This is all about, I think, just kind of what vibe you like more. We Don't Trust You, and We Still Don't Trust You. Obviously, the Metro and Future collabs.
Yeah.
Nick, where are you going first?
Yeah, I find myself going back to We Still Don't Trust You a little bit more because of those R&B vibes. The Weeknd features on that album, awesome. And I think the fun thing to note too is both those albums came out within a month of each other too.
Yeah.
So
the turnaround is really crazy, especially for 2 big artists at the top of kind of the game this year. It's really close for me. I think I still side with We Still Don't Trust You. I love some of the R&B songs, All of Myself, and just really those performances. Like you mentioned, The Weeknd was really strong, although it's going to be tough not to pick We Don't Trust You, especially with that Kendrick Lamar.
Like That was
revolutionary for the game.
That song was insane.
We'll move to our next one. What do we got next? Heavy and Timeless.
Ooh, I'm going heavy on this one. I love that album. Sir has become one of my favorite R&B singers. So many hits on that album. It's got an Anderson .Paak feature.
Yep.
I believe Ty Dolla $ign's on it.
Yes.
Super, super good album. I think that is his best project by far.
I'll give you credit. I think a week or 2 ago I would have picked Timeless, but Nick, you really put me on to Heavy, and I really have just been playing that album on repeat. So much good R&B value on that track list, and I'm going Heavy as well with you here. Let's see if we disagree on the next one. American Dream and Hardstone Psycho. This is really interesting. I think this is a good pairing. I think they both kind of have different things. I think the storytelling on American Dream is a lot stronger, but the different kind of range and sound that you get with Hardstone Psycho is definitely intriguing as well.
Yeah, I liked, again, like you were saying, the storytelling. That was some of the best storytelling I think 21 Savage has had on a project before. I do love some Don Toliver, though. I think I'm going to give Don Toliver's album the edge because, again, I found myself going back to it a little more. Some of those songs have replay value. Last Laugh has become a favorite for me.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah,
I
love
think
that
my
song.
favorite off of that track list would probably be Bandit. Obviously the single that released a while ago, but I'm going to give it to American Dream. I really like what 21 Savage did from start to finish. I thought that was more of a complete album than Hardstone Psycho.
I can get behind that.
Let's see what we got next. Hood Poet and Might Delete Later J. Cole.
Yeah. Hood Poet, good album.
Yep.
Polo G is kind of just doing what he usually does on that. With Cole, and I know this wasn't like a full-blown album project, it kind of felt more like a mixtape. But when that guy raps on a beat, it's just insane. Like, he is one of the most talented lyricists, I think, of our generation.
Yeah.
And He's one of my favorite artists. So
It's really interesting to me that J. Cole had a song, that last song on his album, that he ended up deleting a week after because it was a Kendrick Lamar diss after Lamar dissed him and Drake.
Yeah.
And then he kind of had a coming apart and kind of said, you know what? That's it. Like, I'm taking off that song. I'm not trying to get in the beef. So I'll agree with J. Cole here. I think that's all we got, though, for albums. Had a ton of fun debating that with you, Nick. That's all we got on this week for #that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts to stay up to date.
I'm Ben Rickovicius.
And I'm Nick Boyd. From the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes, thank you for watching #that, and we'll see you next week.